Charlotte, welcome to the How to Be a Redhead show. How are you
I'm
doing?
great. Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited to talk with you. A question we like to ask all of our guests who are redheads: what was it like for you growing up with red hair?
Okay, so I was bullied most of my life, like pretty much all throughout school, elementary school, junior high, high school. And I don't know if it was overtly because I had red hair, but sometimes I feel
Mm.
like it made me different and
Mm.
might have made me a target. Um, I'm, I do think that it made me stand out in a way that might have not been the best in terms of like the type of attention that I attracted, just because I was different, like in the way that I looked and the way that I
Yeah.
acted. But I never wanted to change that part of myself at all. So it was always something that I really liked about myself, regardless of whether or not other people liked it or not.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Calgary, Alberta.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
talked to someone else from Calgary. I love Calgary and like the whole Banff area. It's just so
Yeah.
beautiful.
It
Yeah.
really is. I'm actually headed there in June for the Banff World Media Festival. I just
Oh,
confirmed
wow.
it, so I'm really looking forward to
Cool.
going there. It's so great in the summer. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful,
It is. It is. We went in, I think it was June or July, and it was just like so spectacular. It was,
stunning. So many hikes. In the winter, it's so cold that like your hair freezes though. So
is that true?
yeah,
Oh
like
my,
your hair gets like
really?
condensation on it from your breath, and like it's like freezes. It's crazy.
Wow. I know I'm always so interested, even though I know Canada is like so close to America, but I always like wonder if people who are growing up as redheads, like if they have a harder time or an easier time. And I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty similar that a lot of redheads have the same story that like we didn't really love it. And then when did you start to really love it? Like when were you like, this is it? I'm so happy I'm a redhead.
Mm. I don't know. Like, I think I've always really liked it just because
Love that.
yeah, my mom and grandmother used to, well, my grandmother had red hair. Both my grandmothers had red hair. My dad had red hair. So it was just, it's such a huge part of like my family. And I'm a very family oriented person. And I think that
Hmm.
my grandma said to me once that if like like if I ever dyed my hair, she'd kill me or something. So it was never even an option to want to change it. Um, so I don't know. I've never not I've always thought that redheads are so special. Um, and yeah, sometimes it would have been nice to be able to change it and like try something different. But I was never going to.
I know. I know. I have
Mm.
the same story. I like just have always loved my red hair and I never wanted to change it. And how about like when you get older, will you ever dye it? Or will you
Uh
just or will you go
honestly,
white? What are you gonna do? Because I can't go white. I just have to be a redhead till the end. I
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
same.
be.
I have to go right. Yeah,
Yeah, so one of
red too.
my grandmothers, she went totally white by like 50 or 60, and my other grandmother had her red hair, some of it until she was like 94, and that's when she died. So she like, I don't know whose genes
Wow.
I
Oh
have,
wow.
but I have started going gray a little bit like on the side, so I already kind of like upkeep with like
Okay.
Enhance
a
it.
conditioner that I use in the shower, which like kind of looks like I committed a murder, honestly, because it's just bright red
Everywhere. I
everywhere. This
know.
like this rich kind of like burnt orange color. But I've just always wanted to kind of keep it up. Maybe blending the gray with like some blonde highlights to have it like frame my face in a way. If
Mm,
that's how it turns out. But no, I think I would always want to be a redhead.
yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I feel the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I know. And have you found, you mentioned that the color of the product that you use is an orange. Have you felt that that's a good color? Because I know I experiment with so many like at home color depositing shampoos, glosses, everything,
Yeah.
because my hair has browned out as I've gotten older.
Same.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you felt that the orange family
Yeah,
suits your hair?
definitely orange.
Yeah.
Just with my skin tone, the dye itself is quite like fiery red. Like it's not a cherry red, but it's like a fiery
Mm-hmm.
red.
Mm.
And like the first couple of days after I've dyed it, my hair is so bright.
Mm.
So I think if I went like any more red than that, like it just wouldn't work with my skin tone.
Yeah.
I have like
Yeah.
olive skin tone, so I like the kind of auburn hair.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. Do
it
you
looks so nice
tan?
on you.
I do tan actually.
You
Yeah,
You're
I
a
tan.
do.
redhead who
Yeah.
tans.
I know, I'm
Jealous.
a freak of nature, a tanning redhead. I know it's so weird. It doesn't make sense. Um, but yeah, like freckles on my nose, and I do like actually get quite dark. I just don't know. I don't actively try to tan that much, just because I know that I
Hmm.
am like fair and I have fair genes, so it's probably
Right.
not the best in terms of like skin cancer. I have a history of like skin cancer in my family. My mom had to get some stuff like burned off of her nose, so trying to avoid being like really, really tan obsessed. But yeah, no, I can
Yeah.
tan for sure.
Wow, that is so
I'm
cool. I know I see
jealous.
people in the comments on our Instagram being like, "Oh, so jealous for the of the redheads who can tan." And I'm always like, "Oh, when I was growing up, I was obsessed with sunless tanner for so long,
For sure.
and I wanted to be like that redhead who tans because we are Italian redheads, and I
Yeah.
can't. But I'm so envious because it's so pretty and like just that combo is so beautiful,
Oh, well, that's really sweet. I no, I totally agree with you. But again, like you just never know. Like the sunless tan is a great
isn't it?
alternative, just
I
because you
know.
just don't know if
It
you're fair,
is.
like you don't know how it will affect you like later in life. And I do get like freckles and stuff. So
Mm,
like I don't know. I think maybe I used to actually work at a tanning salon. That was like one of my first jobs. And I had like
love
an
it.
orange face and like orange hair.
We all did it. We all have like
we
those.
we all did it.
Yeah.
Where like the hand was always really,
Yeah,
really pale,
always,
and then always streaky by the ankles. Like I
always,
swear I could never get it right on the
for
ankles, and then the
sure.
toes
And the
were
knees. The
gross.
knees are
And the
hard in the
knees,
elbows.
those knees.
I
But
know.
spray tan's also good too. Like getting a
Yeah.
spray tan if you're going on vacation and just kind of staying out of the sun, like that's actually like great. There's machines that do it, or you can
I
get someone to
know.
do it
Yeah.
professionally. It's definitely a good
I think you
alternative.
inspired me. I really think I was like, oh, just getting a spray tan sounds like summer. Just
Yeah.
sounds like so
Sounds so
nice.
Yeah,
That
and
nice.
just like
sounds
honestly sleep with it overnight. Like sleep with it overnight, and you'll get like super super dark, and then you wash it off in the morning. Your sheets might kind of
yeah,
stink a
that's
bit,
okay.
but no, it
That's
totally
okay.
works, especially like if you're really fair. I've slept with it overnight before, and then like showered in the morning and gone to Mexico the next day, and I had like a nice golden tan.
Oh, that looks so that must look so
That
pretty.
sounds
We have so
wonderful.
many
Highly
beauty
recommend.
questions to ask you, but
For
we
sure.
want to first talk about your journey into content creation and how you landed where you are today. So you have over 6 million followers across social media, which is so
Amazing.
amazing.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Congrats. We
Thank
know
you.
you're an actress by trade and featured in commercials for international brands like Starbucks, Hilton Hotels. The list goes on and on, TurboTax and more.
Yeah.
Your television roles include The Stepson and The Sonnet Project. You're not you're a performer, an actress, a writer, a producer. Like you're so many things. So tell us how you got to this point.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I went to university for acting. So I went to University of Victoria for theater, and then I went to New York Film Academy for acting, and then I moved to Toronto to pursue a career in entertainment. So I came here and I started working for like a different YouTube channel as a host and a writer for like a trending news channel, and that was kind of like my survival job. So
Mm.
I got that job because they told me that I would be able to go to auditions. So I was working a 9 to 5, making 5 YouTube videos a day, and then in between
Wow.
like lunch hour and after, I would run across the city and do auditions and run back to work and like film 2 more videos, and like it just went on and on like that for
Wow.
years. So I had kind of built up a bit of a reputation already, and I had tried to start my own channel a bunch of times, and there was always just something better to do. Like I was in my early 20s, and like I didn't really feel like putting the time in to like put up a video every single week, when I was already doing so much of that already. And
Mm.
but then the pandemic hit, and I had no auditions. I didn't really, you weren't really allowed to see your friends, and I kind of just. I remember it was actually the Sunday that we went into lockdown. I posted on my personal channel for like one of the first times, and I kind of used it as somewhat of like an outlet, like a creative outlet, but also just sort of like, I don't know, something to like lift my spirits with. And that, like, to this day is kind of what this channel really is about. Like, I don't
Mm,
really get involved in like controversial topics or anything. I kind of want this to just be my channel, to be a place where people can just kind of forget about what's going on in their lives for a little bit and just like
yeah.
laugh And
They are really funny
They're
thank
videos.
you.
so funny.
Yeah, how
Thank
you
you.
take some like Reddit,
Yeah.
I
like
love
I
those. I
saw
love those.
the
Me
I
too.
saw the one about the bridezilla who
Yeah.
was asking to dye her hair. Or
Yeah.
like I
The
saw
ginger,
one
yeah.
where
Yeah.
yeah. And then I saw another video. It was a girl who worked at a tanning salon
Yeah.
where there was like the reason why she quit or something. But they are your way on like your reactions to these people's stories
Yeah.
is really humorous. And then
Thank
Pam and
you.
Adrian and I, yeah, we were talking prior to having you on. I think your videos with where you play Barb and Bob
Yeah.
on your
With my
Instagram.
boyfriend.
Okay, we didn't know if that was your boyfriend,
It
but
is.
those are hilarious.
Thank you so
Like
much.
yeah, and then I was also getting a kick out of my friend isn't going to listen to this episode. I don't even think she knows I have a podcast. She's like my friend that's just like totally out there. I don't even think she knows who the president is. Like that's my friend who's just like you're wondering it was like 5 years ago she just knew who the Kardashians were. Like I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I only mention this because I saw your video about that one friend that wears white on
Yeah.
a bachelorette
Yeah.
and that was my friend. My bachelorette. She brought all white and all beige
I'm
items
crying.
and
No.
she opens up her luggage.
It was
And
her.
we're
It was
like,
her bachelorette.
we couldn't believe it. And then she goes, "Well, I'm sorry. That's just like my aesthetic. Like that's my style. That's my style. I'm all neutrals this summer." And I was just like, one weekend, 2 nights,
Yeah.
2 nights. You just couldn't make an exception. So we'd go out, and everyone thought she was the bride.
For
So it was a
sure.
running. It was a running. So when I saw your video again, I was like, "This is so relatable because this happened to me." Thank you for making content that's so relatable. Like to watch it and be like, "Oh my gosh, like that happened to me."
For sure. I really appreciate that. And honestly, it's relatable because like it also happens to me. Like I think that
Yeah.
we don't really realize how relatable our personal experiences are, and that plays into the comedy of it, right? Because it's like, wow, this is
Yeah.
not a unique experience, is it?
No. No.
Yeah.
Humans.
Right.
Humans.
Yeah.
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 And we wanted to ask, what are some perks or advantages you've discovered about being a redhead?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like we're just so different and so special, and like I don't know if it helps with casting or not. I
It's
think that if
certainly
someone,
so beautiful on your page. Like when you go on, like it is like so nice and like I know that
Oh
we have
yeah,
red hair, but like it looks so pretty. Like your waves,
oh,
like the whole dynamic
thank
looks really
you.
nice.
I feel like it sets me apart, honestly, and like that's for better or worse. You know, like not everybody's gonna want a redhead in their show or movie, but if they do want a redhead, like hello,
Yeah.
here
I'm
you
right
are.
here. Perks, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I also think that guys, like my boyfriend, loves redheads. So like
Okay.
when it comes to like guys that like redheads, when they like redheads, they love
I know.
redheads.
What is with that?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's like it's just like it's a thing.
Yeah.
So did you know, I wanted to ask, like, did you guys meet and he complimented your red hair and how did that come about?
So okay, so he the way that we met is he's actually dating my or he not dating. Oh my god. Okay, let me roll that back. So the way that me and Mike met is that his brother is dating one of my best friends. They're actually engaged now.
Okay.
And I think that it might have been mentioned that, you know, I have a friend that's like single and like you said that you like redheads and I feel like you guys would like really hit it off. So yeah, I mean, apparently I think one of his last girlfriends also had red hair. But yeah, no, it's the thing. He really loves the ginge.
Yeah.
So does he love it because it's so vibrant, like you stand out?
I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. I think he likes the ginger, the ginger minge.
And he's brunette from what I saw in the videos.
Yeah, he is.
He plays Bob.
Yeah, no, he definitely is a brunette.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I think just some guys just like they have all different, they like all different, but some people just have a thing for redheads. Yeah, I don't know.
He also has like this like swooping kind of like slick back hair that reminds me of like Prince Eric.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
So I really don't mind at all. I've always like fancied me a Prince Eric, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
definitely,
guys seem like a
definitely.
great match.
Thank you.
Yeah, and do you feel a sense of connection or community with other redheads, either online or in real life? Because
Oh,
we always say it's like a secret club.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when you see a redhead like out, like you're at a bar or something like that. There's always like a moment that's like,
There is. It's kind of awkward. It's like I'm not staring. I mean, I'm staring at you, but
yeah,
not staring
but
at
like
you.
we're
because
both
it's
we're
so
And
both
yeah,
rare to see another redhead like
yeah.
in the same room.
I know.
So I definitely feel like a sense of connection. I also feel like other redheads that watch the channel also feel a sense of connection to me because they will almost always mention in the
Mm,
comments, like, by the way, I'm a redhead too, or like, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also named Charlotte and I'm also a redhead.
oh,
And they always mention it. And like, I think that, I don't know if it's necessarily about representation either, but like, I think that people like, seeing themselves on screen. So I
yeah.
think that that definitely, I don't know. I also personally, my favorite actresses are redheads.
Me too. Name what?
That's,
Who are your
Same.
yeah.
Oh my
favorites?
God.
Oh gosh. I love Kate Blanchett.
Hmm.
I love Nicole Kidman.
Jessica
Oh,
Jessica
Chastain.
Chastain.
Jessica Chastain. I love
Yeah,
Jessica Chastain.
I know. She's so
She is.
amazing.
She is. She's the
Like
best.
through
She
and through.
really.
She is the best. And I always
Ah.
look at her like if I'm ever doing like a red carpet event or like any sort of like
Oh.
wedding or something like that, whoever does her like, because when you're a celebrity, like there's people that you work with in terms of styling that actually know your coloring very well. And
Mm.
so like
Mm-hmm.
whenever she gets dressed, she's always put in colors that really, really make her red hair pop.
Doesn't
Whether
she?
it's like
Yeah.
always,
I
always like
know.
she wore this
Is
like
it?
bright chartreuse dress to an event recently that's like a bright, almost yellow green dress, or like a turquoise dress. She does turquoise and greens and blues so well and purples. So it's like it's really cool to like look at how they dress her and like kind of like emulate that just based on like your color tone
Mm-hmm.
and your undertones and your hair color.
Yeah,
I always like look at her. If I need a red carpet look, I always look at Jessica Chastain as like kind of like my inspo
Yeah. It's
pictures.
Elizabeth. Elizabeth
yeah.
Stewart
Is
is
her
her fashion
stylist? Yeah,
Yes.
stylist,
Oh,
forever.
and
Like
makes
forever. Like
sense.
probably for the
forever,
Yeah.
forever.
No,
Yeah.
they
No, that
do
makes
Yeah.
such a
sense.
good job. And like, I just feel like I love that like she wears all the bold colors that they say redheads can't wear. Like she just looks so good. Don't you wish that we had someone like her growing up to look up to? Because,
For sure, because it really enhances like the red hair, Like I feel like
yeah,
I revert to wearing black just because it's easy, but like I've started wearing
Yeah.
more like emerald greens now and like playing up the redhead and like really
me
focusing
too.
my work. If I'm gonna buy a new piece, I'll buy like something purple or something emerald green or something turquoise and like taking more risks based on like because man, oh, a redhead with an emerald green dress is like mwah,
I
so
agree.
good.
I
We
Oh,
were
agree.
just
Too
talking
good.
about green yesterday. We
yay.
were just talking about emerald green,
There's
and I
something
don't have enough
special.
emerald. Yeah, I don't have enough green in my wardrobe. I really don't. I think I have one or two
I
pieces.
decorate
So
my
I have
entire
to.
house in emerald green. I mean, I just like
You
love to look
do.
at it. I love the color. And just recently, I love green so much and I wear it so
Mhm.
much that my niece on my husband's side, we're pen pals. She's 7. She's too cute. And she sent me yesterday a flower that she drew that's hunter green. And she wrote, Auntie A, your favorite color. And I was like,
Aw,
oh, it is. It's my
Oh,
favorite
that's
color.
so
I'm so glad that
cute.
she picked up on that. I don't even think I told her, but I just love it because it's just so pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the honestly the best color for redheads. It really just makes us pop. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah,
there's
big
something.
fan.
There's
There's something
something.
there. There's
There's
a
something there.
science, the color wheel or whatever, like the orange and the
Yeah.
red and the green.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about the swipe life and the initial vision behind the project.
Yeah.
We
Mm.
heard that while reading the Tao Te Ching, I might be saying that
Dao De
wrong.
Ching. Dao De Ching, yeah.
The Way. It's a
Touching.
Chinese classical philosophy novel. You came across an underlying passage that read, and I loved this. The more you
Me
pursue
too.
desires, the more they'll elude you. Try letting life come to you and begin to notice the clues that what you
Mm.
crave is on the way, kind of like just letting go and letting it happen.
Mhm.
After letting go, you had the idea for the swipe life. So tell us more about how this happened.
So I think that I was probably at like one of my like lowest points when I thought of the swipe life when I first like conjured it and my mom had given me the Tao Te Ching. It was so because it's a Chinese philosophy book, there's books that translate it. So I had a
Mm,
book that my mother had given me, that was kind of a way to like translate the poetry and translate the Chinese and kind of like make sense of it.
yeah.
Um, and there was a passage that I had read that said that, you kind of got to let life come to you. So whenever you're feeling like all this friction in life, and I really was feeling that way, both
Mm,
in my career, I felt like I was auditioning so much and not getting roles that I wanted and chasing and chasing and chasing and just sort of feeling like it wasn't leading anywhere. And then not only that, but in my romantic life, I was going on so many dates with like these and chasing these guys that were just not good for me and didn't like,
mm.
didn't take me seriously, and just going on so many dates with like off of dating apps. And so just feeling like very defeated. And I realized as I read that I was doing like a lot of the chasing and trying to control things, like just always
Yeah.
needing like a
Yeah.
sense of control over like every facet of my life. Because it's like, when your entire life is just about, getting that audition and getting that job, it's just so much about like you have to make sure that you're perfect at every single thing. And like,
And
yeah,
self-ambition, like you have to do it. You have to get up in the morning. You have to go to the
yeah,
audition. Like
for
you have to
sure.
do it. So in your personal life, you're like, I have to do the dating. Like I have
Totally.
to make it. Yeah. I totally,
Totally.
Stephanie and I can totally relate to that.
Totally.
Hmm.
So, with that in mind, I had that realization, and I kind of just like sat there for a second and like let go, like just released that sort of pulling, that like friction that I
Mm.
was so accustomed to. And I had a realization that, not only were like my horrible dating experiences kind of funny, like if I wrote them
Yeah.
down, like they would be like kind of
Sure.
funny,
Yeah.
but I was also able to maybe create a role for myself that I wasn't
Mm,
really seeing. So I sat down with my mom, and we started writing out like all of these horrible dates that I had been on. She was mad at me at the time too, over something. I don't even remember what it was about, but like even she was just like, I really feel like you're onto something here. And so I kind of sat down and I wrote out a scene, which was pretty much a conversation that me and my friends had. And I had shown it to a director that had a screening at TIFF for one of his films that
mm.
year. And he read it and he was like, there's something here. Like, and I just loved that every time that I talked about the project, people's eyes would like light up, because everybody has had
Mm.
a horrible dating app experience, and everybody knows somebody who, has either met their significant other, or they've just had the worst time. They just can't seem to find somebody. I was part of the group of people that can't seem to find anybody on dating apps. All my friends did. Like all of their, fiancés, boyfriends, husbands,
Yeah.
they all met on dating apps. I never was lucky like that though. I met my boyfriend through a friend. So yeah, that's kind of how the project came to be. It was just sort of like a feeling of like frustration and like letting go and wanting to sort of create my own opportunities for myself, and also kind of making light of all the, you know, at the time they seemed awful, but everybody loves some self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. So,
and there's something about that letting go. And when Stephanie and I first started How to Be a Redhead, it was like so incredibly hard. I can't tell you. Like no
Yeah,
one thought the idea was good. Everyone was like, down, not really thinking it was gonna work out. And Stephanie and I had like quit everything to do all of our, to do all of this hard work that we had in our head and this vision. And I remember we would just be like grinding and like working so hard. This was like 10 years ago when we were living in New York City. And then when we would take those days to just like walk around and just be like, oh, we're going to
just
have like a
be.
free day, just be and
Yeah,
be like funny and be like walking
yeah.
around. That's when we would get those great emails or
for
like
sure.
get those great. And we're like, it's always when we're least expecting it and when
For
we're like
sure.
casually. When we found out we were on Shark Tank, I was at a shopping place, which I never shop, but I was just taking a day by myself, and then I happened to get an email, and I was just like, it's always throughout my life that I've noticed this, that
Hmm.
it's something about the letting go and just being, and then it happens.
Yeah, putting it out there and then letting it go. And
Yeah.
um yeah, it just even just going with the flow of life and not
Yes.
trying to like swim upstream is another part of the Tao Te Ching that they talk about. If you feel like you're encountering friction, it just means that you're kind of swimming upstream and you're not going with the flow of the river. So let
Yeah.
go and
Mm.
float down the river and you'll get taken to wherever
Yeah.
you're supposed to go. At least that's what the book says. So
No, there's something about human nature. I do believe that. There's something about our spirits, and life is weird. And sometimes I'm like, gosh, if I was at home working really hard, would I have still got that email? I don't know. Sometimes I think about that, like the way how
yeah,
weird the world is, and I don't know.
you'll never know. You'll honestly never know. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you've had that experience.
Redheads, have you heard?
We aired on ABC's Shark Tank, episode 14, season 15. We are busy developing products and continuing to grow this incredible redhead lifestyle brand.
Check out our mascara and eyebrow products in red hot shades, hair care, merch, lifestyle items, and so much more. Redheads, we can now rejoice.
Finally, there are products for us.
Use code podcast to get 15% off your next purchase. Shop at shop.howtobearedhead.com.
Yeah, or Charlotte, it makes me think, like you mentioned, the dating apps, you did them for so long and there was a lot of like you wanted control and there maybe was pressure. And then you met your now boyfriend
Right.
organically, like through
Yeah,
a friend.
for
And that
sure.
was kind of what, the Chinese philosophy, like you just kind of went with the flow. You didn't like put pressure. You maybe stopped putting pressure on trying to go on these apps and connect with these guys and go on these dates. And I think it kind of seems
That's
like
when it happens. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just that too. Like I feel like I also kind of put my foot down when it came to allowing certain behaviors. I think
Important.
that
Okay.
Very
like
important.
sometimes, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think I was finally at a point where I wasn't going to allow anybody to talk to me that wasn't like that was displaying signs that they didn't think of me as a future girlfriend. So if you
Okay.
Yes.
see like a you up text at like 3 a.m, blocked. Or if like, a guy kind of disrespects you and
Yeah.
says something like sexually suggestive and you haven't like even kissed yet, blocked. Like
Blocked. Yeah.
you're done.
You
Like you're
you put
literally done.
yes.
And the
Mm-hmm.
minute that I started doing that and I stopped allowing certain energy, because sometimes, it's like, oh, like, I still kind of want the validation and stuff like that. I stopped allowing that type of energy altogether and started blocking everyone who showed me that type of energy or disrespect. And yeah, and then I met Mike pretty much right afterward. So it was interesting
Wow.
how that,
See?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really, really weird. And like I kept waiting for him to kind of like, I don't know, like if he had done that with me, I would have blocked him 100% as well. And it would have been
Yeah.
awkward because, he's my, best friend's brother or best
Brothers.
friend's boyfriend's
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would have been weird, but no, he was always very respectful. I was like, I'm not like, we had a kind of a double date and I said, I do want to see him again, but it has to be a date, like an actual date, like not coffee, not nothing. Like he's going to take me out on a date. He's going to pay and it's going to be dinner. And like,
Great.
once I started, like, not just being like, oh, it's okay. Like, I guess we could just go for coffee. No, this is the date.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I actually saw something
Yeah.
the other day and it said a secure woman is very inconvenient.
Yeah,
And I love
totally.
that because I
Totally.
am
And if I'm
so
too
inconvenient.
inconvenient, then that's
Yeah.
fine. Just don't waste my time. Like that's
Yep.
what I'm in it for. And if that's not what you want, that's fine. But just if that's the case, just move on. Like go find
Yeah.
somebody else to waste
I
her
love
time.
that.
Yep. Yep. No, I'm the same exact way. And throughout my life, people have been like, "You're really harsh," like you really just cut people out. And I'm like, if you steal my joy for 1 minute,
For
I'm done with
sure.
you. Like I am not allowing
100%.
anyone to come into my life and ruin my joy. And surprisingly, a lot of people want to do that.
They do. No, they definitely do. And there's another quote that I've seen a lot lately where men are not really competing with each other anymore. They're competing with like your solitude and your happiness. So like
Oh,
what else are
Mm.
you bringing to add something to my life? Because if
yes.
you're not adding something to my life, then and you're disrupting my peace, like absolutely not. Like no,
Yeah.
not
Yep.
interested.
No, it's so true. So for our audience, let's dig more into the swipe life.
Sure.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
audience, the pilot is a rom-com series inspired by your dating adventures, which I I know that they're really funny, just from talking to you. That screened at TIFF, is it TIFF or can I say TIFF? How do you?
TIFF,
TIFF.
yeah,
That
TIFF.
screened at TIFF as part of a program by Share Her Journey, which is awesome, a charity that champions women in film. The story showcases hilarious traps people fall into due to using online dating apps to find romance. We know you produced, funded, and wrote the pilot yourself, which is so
So
cool, so
amazing.
Thank
amazing.
Wow.
you.
We
Thank
love
you
the
so much.
tenacity. Why did you decide to do this?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was trying to, when I had first written it, I was trying to create work for myself.
Mm,
Um, but then it just kind of got to the point where I had, my YouTube channel that had been, functioning quite well on its own. And I had, had this script that I was sitting on, and something was like telling me that I should just do it. And the
mm,
interesting thing about, creating, video content, be it, a YouTube video or TikTok or whatever, is that's all a business expense for me. So it just sort of seemed like something that, like, I didn't really need to go through any roadblocks or ask anyone for
okay,
money to do.
right.
And like, I sort of just wanted to do it. And I didn't really see another way other than to have to like go and get funding from the government, or like, going through roadblock after roadblock and gatekeeper after gatekeeper. And,
Yeah,
nobody who really like believed in the project. There were some people who believed in it, but I just kind of didn't really want to deal with like the deflation anymore of like having to pitch it to anyone. I believed in it, and there
Yeah.
were other people that believed in it. And so I, put together a team of my friends, and we just like did it. Like, we got it done. And
that's so cool.
yeah, thank you so much. It was
And
so
so
fun.
satisfying, I'm sure, to like complete that project on your own.
Thank you. It was super satisfying, and I think that it like not only proves that I can write and act, which is something that I didn't really have anything tangible to show before that. Um it was something that like proved that I can do it, like if I'm put
Yeah.
into a role where like I want to be a showrunner, I want to be a writer, I want to be a producer, like, look, I did this,
I did it.
you know. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know where it's going to lead, honestly. There was a strike in the States recently,
Mm-hmm.
the SAG
Yeah.
AFTRA strike. So,
Yeah.
I had gone to, certain people, and they, worked at HBO, and they like, they love the idea, but come back when the strike is over. And then I come back when the strike is over, and it's like, oh, I don't work there anymore. Everybody got fired. So it was not the best timing.
Yeah.
But then again, same with the pandemic. I was shopping it around
Yeah.
before the pandemic, and then pandemic happened, and then I totally forgot about it for like years, and picked it back up again. So it kind of had like a second life in that respect. But I do have a team behind it now, an agent and a manager who really believe in the
That's
project.
awesome.
The goal is to get it sold, or to just put it on the internet and charge $4 or something for people to see it, and
Yeah.
that's all it will be. I don't know yet. We'll
Okay.
see.
Yeah, so that's what you're doing right now. You're pitching it to networks. Is that what that
Yeah.
means by getting an agent and everything?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So I just finally got an agent after taking a bit of a hiatus from the industry. Obviously, COVID, and having a
Yeah.
full-time YouTube channel doesn't really allow much room for auditioning and all that stuff. But now I finally have an agent who has, she also represents writers. They have an entire lit department, and a manager who's based in the States as well, who's like putting my stuff out
Cool.
there, mentioning my name, and sending
That's
the
great.
pilot to people he meets. So yeah, no, I'm like, honestly fine with
Yeah.
whatever happens. I know that everybody that watches my channel really wants to see it as well. They've been so
I
supportive.
know. I want to,
I
Adrian and
We
I
would
and
really
Pam,
want
we
to
were
see
saying we
it.
really
I
want
would
to
love to
watch
show it to
it.
I
you.
went on the
I would
website. I went on the website to see like if we
Yeah,
could,
there's
and then I
none
was like,
there.
oh,
I
we
just did
can't.
that so I
Yeah.
got the domain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
um
So can we get updates on what happens with the show on your social?
Yeah, on my social, I'll definitely talk about
Okay.
it. I also created an Instagram account for it. Haven't updated it lately, just because like you genuinely can't, if there's someone who's interested
Mm.
in buying it or
Possibly picking it
producing it,
up.
like
Okay.
you genuinely can't reveal too much about it. So that's sort of been like, I feel like there was all this hype, and then the strike and stuff like that. So I will definitely be updating as soon as I
Okay.
have news, but we're still in the pitching stages right now.
That's so
Okay.
Yeah.
cool.
Well, best
That's
of luck.
yeah,
Oh
Thank
my
you so
gosh,
really,
it
much.
sounds
really.
so exciting.
That
Thank you
really
so
And I
much. I
feel
appreciate the
like,
support.
yeah, and whenever it does become available, I feel like I'm gonna have to send it to a couple of my girlfriends that still online date. So I hear their stories. They'll call me and be like, "Can you believe this happened to me, Steph? What's your advice on this, Steph?" And some of the stories, my mouth drops
Yeah.
with some of what my girlfriends tell me.
Yeah.
I either can't believe how this person acted or can't believe this person said this on a date. It's just,
I know.
yeah.
It's
Yeah. So I'm going
insane.
to have to definitely send it to them. It is insane.
There's definitely no like more social decorum because it's just people just sort of they see a person on a screen and they don't register that it's a human being. And I just feel
Yeah.
like,
I think that's a, yeah.
you know, that's kind of like what I wanted to explore with the swipe life, just maybe like a return to traditional dating. And I know that
Yeah.
that's hard
Yeah.
now because it's like, you know, men are afraid to approach women now, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, okay,
I
so
know.
we tell you we don't want to be sexually assaulted. And now all of a sudden you're not approaching us until like,
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, like
Well,
there's a difference, you know what I
y-
mean? But yeah, no, like men are afraid to approach women. Women don't want to be approached anymore. So like, how do you get back to this, like, you know, not authentic. What's the word I'm looking for? How do you
like
get
organic
yeah, how do you get back to an organic way of meeting
way of,
people? Because there's something to be
yeah.
said for that, right? Like
Yeah.
how can you really know if you're attracted to a person based on a a picture and a bio and like a few messages exchanged? Like you don't know there's like pheromones, there's chemistry and you don't feel that
Yeah.
unless you meet them in person.
Yeah. My husband
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
both well, he probably would have, what is it, swiped right as whatever the swipe
Yeah,
is.
swiped right, yeah.
He would have obviously swiped to meet me. But
For sure.
I don't know if I would have swiped to meet him because I'm not
Yeah. I
into
don't
any
know if I would have either.
initially I wouldn't have I'm not really into any of the things that he was into at that time, you
For
know,
sure.
like I just wouldn't have I don't think that I would have thought at first glance we're not compatible and like we're the
Totally.
most compatible.
Totally. And it's funny that you say that. So my boyfriend is a little bit shorter than me and I had my height. I paid for Hinge. Okay. I paid for Hinge to only show me guys that were like 6'2" and up because I'm tall. I'm 5'11". So I was kind of
Okay.
like missing out on all, I never saw him on a dating app. And it's because I had this like superficial notion of what it meant to like, you know,
Oh.
what I wanted in a man. And I never saw him on a dating app because I was too preoccupied with like, you know, having the tall
Yeah.
boyfriend. Um, you know, 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 inches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then I was missing out on like who knows how many great guys there I missed out on because I was
Right.
worried
Because
about
of the height.
something
Yeah.
like height.
Yeah.
That is really interesting
Yeah,
because I think a lot of listeners that maybe if they are dating, maybe they go and change their filter if it is on height because you never know if you do are compatible with someone that maybe is your height or a little bit shorter. And I loved what you said earlier. It made me think of what my girlfriend said who lives in the city that nowadays when she goes to a bar, everyone's head is down on their
for
phone
sure.
and
Oh. Oh.
no one's looking up, and she said she sees it all the time and she just wishes that people would put
Put
your
your
phone
phone
away
away.
anyway, but put your phone away because you might meet someone organically, whether it turns out to be romantic or just a friendship, but
Hmm.
she misses that aspect. And
Oh.
it just made me think of what you said earlier because who knows if we're ever going to get back to how it is. But I love what you said too about the insight on height because I think that's important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that goes for what Adrienne said. Like I, you know, was missing out on a great guy, somebody that I didn't really think that you know I
Yeah.
would be if I saw him on a dating app, I probably would have not been interested. But you know, I gave him a chance because he did everything right in terms of treating me with respect.
Yeah.
And I think it's more important to be treated with respect and to be treated like, you know, not just like a or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he did, you know, he treated me like someone that he wanted to date. And that was more
Mm.
important than something superficial like height.
I know. And what do you think about specifically females who are so concentrated on finding Prince Charming? I think that is also a
Mm.
problem with this dating culture now because
Yeah.
they see everyone wants to look so good on social media and they want to like
Yeah,
have this fairy tale life. And I'm like, that doesn't exist. I don't
it
know. I
doesn't
think it's a
exist.
problem.
And no, it definitely doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist for men either. Like men are also
Mm,
looking at people on social media
yeah.
that aren't real. They're comparing their real girlfriends to women on the internet that Facetune and, you know,
I
they're
know.
these unattainable beauty standard, and they're not real. Like they're literally not real people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure that they encounter issues with like women pretending to be something that they're not as well. So yeah, no,
Mhm.
social media has like, I'm surprised that so many of my friends have met boyfriends on dating apps, because it has really like, it really has ruined, it literally felt like I was beating my head against a wall for so long, just dating apps and social media in general.
Yeah.
It would be nice to get back to like an organic way of meeting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
agree.
I
And so
agree.
the conversation that we're having right now, is that what you want viewers to take away when they do watch the Swipe Life, like these
Mm.
conversations of like
Totally.
getting back to the realness of relationships?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I won't reveal too much about the rest of the show, but it definitely makes a comment on modern dating and you know, the possibilities of who you could meet if, you know, you just put your phone down for just a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely exploring that and exploring just how convoluted and messed up it has become.
I know. And so I was thinking about, you know, our viewers who are watching this right now, and you're so fabulous. You've been doing so many amazing things. What does a day look like in terms of being a YouTube
Mm.
influencer? You know, I know you're just a
Good
social media, but
question.
what
Yeah.
does your day look like in terms of content creation? Because you even mentioned it's even hard to do auditions because you have so much to do.
Yeah. So I actually recently took a step back from posting. I used to post every single day. So that was a lot. And honestly, Mike
Wow.
has said that like my mental health has been so much better. I used to have to get up
Oh,
every single morning to make a thumbnail, do my back end, download the video, make sure there's no copyright claims on it, upload the video, you know, SEO, all that stuff, respond to
Yeah.
comments. And like the entire first 4 hours of my day was just dedicated, like every day was dedicated to YouTube. So now it's every other day, and that's allowed me to have time for anything else that I
a
want to
little
be
mental
doing.
break.
Yeah, a mental
Yeah.
break,
Yeah.
and you know, if I needed to do an audition, I can do that. If I want to do other projects, I can do that. But on a typical content day, I get up at 7:30 or so, sit down, have my coffee. You know, I put up my video for the day, which includes, you know, making a thumbnail, doing all the things that will, you know, help it go viral.
Hmm.
And then once that's done, I get, you know, to my mirror, I do my makeup, I get ready for the day, and then I head into this room and I film usually about 3 videos in one sitting. And
Wow.
then yeah, everything that you see on YouTube. Like I'll like change my shirt or something like that, but you know, I film 3 in one sitting so that I'm able to plan ahead, so that editors have, you know, a week to work on a video. I'm usually
Hmm.
about 3 weeks ahead at any given time. So this just allows, you know, if anything goes wrong, if, you know, there's issues with copyright, if I get sick, then I have, you know, all of these like videos that are banked, that are good to go. And then, you know, in the afternoon, that's when I schedule like meetings. So I always tell everybody like I can't do anything until like 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
any sort of like meeting or call that you want to have with me has to be after I've put my video up and I've had time to like respond to all the comments and filmed and done everything that I need to do. So meetings go in the second half of the day, and then, you know, workout, usually walk the dog, wind down. I usually try to wind down around 4, because otherwise I just get way too much anxiety.
We are going to talk about beauty, but we just have a few questions and then we were just going to ask what's next for you.
Yeah.
So, um, what was I just going to say? Yeah. So I love that you share that because I see sometimes comments on like, oh my God, influencers and content creators don't have real jobs. And that's not the truth.
No, it's
Like
not.
they're working all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, for sure. We definitely all day. Not every day. Like especially now that I don't
Yeah.
have to
You
post
make
every
your own
day.
schedule.
I do make my own schedule, so it is nice to be able to do that. And if there's days where I'm sick or I just really don't feel like putting on a bunch of makeup, and like, you know, sometimes I'm not in the mood to like get in front
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
a camera and pretend to be happy. So I can schedule around that if I need a mental health day or something like that. But no, we like it's a job. It's definitely a job, and to the point where like it's all up to you. If you fail at this, like it's nobody's fault other than yours, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are the same. We have to like constantly be on our A game, or if there's one day where something isn't right, it's Steph and I's fault because we're the ones handling
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. And there's no one to blame but yourself, right? So there is definitely probably that added pressure for you guys to make sure that everything's running smoothly and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. I get it.
I know you do. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So beauty products. I know we were talking about it in the beginning about how you know, do certain things to keep your red hair looking great, but any products that you love that you want to share with us?
Product specifically, I know that people probably want to know my lip combo, which is just something
Yeah.
that
I
I
was
Mm.
have
looking at
here.
that lipstick. I was like, it looks
Thank you.
great.
Thank you. It's a
Yeah.
combo, and I honestly just have it in pretty much every purse that I wear all the time. It's NARS
Oh,
lip
okay.
liner in Morocco,
Mm.
Ooh.
which I honestly swear by. And you kind of just like you line your lips, but then you kind of buff it with your finger or a brush to sort of soften it. And
Okay.
then NARS Bettina pencil lipstick. So this is pretty much in every
Ooh.
purse, and I
Love
keep
it.
it next to my desk just to reapply it. I wear other stuff too, but this is like
Those are your two go-tos.
definitely my go-to. And then the other thing too, which I always struggled with, was finding the right eyebrow shade. So I actually got
Mm.
microblading done recently.
You
Ooh.
did.
Yeah, and it was honestly a game changer because I just hated constantly having to find the right product for my eyebrows, and I also felt like my eyebrows have different colors in them. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a game changer for me. So highly recommended. She was able to match the color to like my hair to make it like more just to make it look like they were the same, because I think my brows were darker than my hair before. Totally natural. But
Yeah.
yeah, so honestly, I would recommend microblading if you've got like particularly light eyebrows and you're constantly filling them in anyway, then honestly microblading was great. And I've also started drawing my freckles back on because I wear
Really?
foundation. Yeah, and
Oh.
like it tends to be underneath the foundation now. And
So what do you do?
I use like a freckle pen. So it's
Okay.
just like a freckle pen that
Oh.
you get on Amazon. It's pink. Or there's this company called Freck that has
Mm-hmm.
like a
Yeah.
freckle
Yeah.
pen. And you do your foundation, your concealer and stuff, but obviously, it's you can't see the freckles anymore, especially if they're on your nose. Well, anywhere really. So I've started like kind of like drawing them back on like little dots and then kind of like spacing them out a bit. And yeah, I think that sort of like embraces the redhead a little bit too, rather than
Yeah.
covering it up with
Cool.
foundation.
That is so cool. So you're a
Yeah. I
redhead,
love
you're a
that.
redhead who can tan, but what color were your natural eyebrows? Were they like the color of your hair but darker, or do you have darker brows naturally?
They were brown,
They
they
were
were not like
brown.
ginger. There was like a
Hmm.
couple of like ginger
Mm.
hairs. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like a couple of ginger hairs,
That's
especially
so
the
funny.
long ones, the long, like really thick ones
The
that were like
coarse
Oh,
really
ones.
easy to
Yeah.
yeah.
mom. Those were ginger,
Yeah.
but the rest were like brown. So having the microblading done kind of like you added more of the color of the hair to make it match.
It looks
Very
great.
cool. They look
Thank
great.
you
Your
so much.
brows look awesome.
I do nothing to them.
It must be so nice to wake up and it's done.
I highly recommend it if you can find someone really
Yeah.
good that has great reviews.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good tip. Yeah,
be,
finding someone that you trust because
yeah, it
you
can
don't
go
want them
awry.
to
It's your
yeah,
whole
you
Yeah,
don't want
face.
them to
Yeah. It's
look.
your whole face.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
it does. You're stuck with it then. I went to the Beauty Attic in Toronto and she does not have a single negative review. And I swear to God, if anybody goes there after watching this and they give her a negative review, I'll be mad. But she does not have, she has 5 stars and like hundreds of people have gone to her.
That
So does
means,
an amazing
yeah.
job.
Wow. That means
Because
something,
as you know,
yeah.
Yeah,
people love to complain. It's free. You
they
know, they
do.
love it.
No,
Yeah.
They
no
love a
complaints.
yeah, as when you mentioned that that you respond to comments in the morning, I was thinking like, "Oh my God, is that
Good.
are you responding to questions or I know, is that good or bad?"
Honestly, I just respond to top comments.
You do.
I
Okay.
don't like venture too far down. Just because that
Good.
usually
Yeah.
is where the negativity is. The
Yes.
negative comments don't always make it all the way to the top, but I do think it's important to get involved in
Yeah.
the community and like, show support for the people that support you. And I always make an effort
Yeah.
when the video first goes up to respond to the people that spend their valuable time watching me. Cause I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't really be
Yeah.
anywhere without them. So
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so great.
thanks.
So yeah, Charlotte, we love you. We think that you're awesome.
You really
What's
are.
next for you? Like what do you have for some plans in the future?
Honestly, traveling a lot, doing VidCon, Banff Media Festival, and then, trying to get back into the auditioning thing. As I said, I have an agent now, so I'm really excited to get back to auditioning. It's been a while, and yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll see. I'm also shooting. My editor on my YouTube channel is also a very talented director and writer, and
Oh.
she wrote a script for a series called Creepy Bits, and she cast me in it. So I'm doing that next week. So just like, you know,
Oh, that's
more
awesome.
more
Yeah.
acting. I want to act more. I want to, you know, get the swipe life out there. I want to speak at events and meet fans, and yeah, whatever happens, I don't know.
And
We
now
shall
let it
see where the
go,
wind
right?
blows.
And now let
Sorry?
it go. Now let it
And let it
go.
go. Who
Now let
knows?
it go.
I don't know. I don't care, but I just know that the river is flowing somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It
I love
is. Well,
that.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It was great talking to you
Thank
guys.
you,
So
Thank
Charlotte.
awesome.
you.